Hey guys, this video is going to be kind of talking about 4 or 5 things that I think every Uber driver and passenger should know, because I wish that someone kind of had told me about some of these things. And yeah, I've been driving for about half a year, and by no means am I like the most experienced or knowledgeable about Uber by any means, but I think that these things could have been helpful if I had known when I had started. And yeah, they're just kind of, some are common sense, some are way less common sense, but yeah, just will make your driving and riding a little bit more efficient and hopefully smooth. So anyways, let's go. The first is addresses. Input your address correctly. And so what I mean by that is Uber has a feature where you can use a drop pin to set your location. Do not use that. It is a piece of shit. Trust me. Like, it will send you 5 blocks away, and you'll be like, "Where am I? Who is my Uber driver?" Actually, what you should always do is, especially if you're at a business, input the name of the business into the address bar, and then it will pull it up that way. And don't even use the GPS. Just write down the address. And obviously, if you're in a residential area, you have to. That would be a little bit different. You'd actually put your correct address in there. But I've had so many experiences where, especially on Main Street, like, none of the buildings are labeled with their addresses, so you're just like, where the fuck am I? Like, and especially with, groups of drunk people on a Saturday night, and you're just, all the bars, especially on Main Street, usually are all next to each other, so you're kind of like, where the hell is 427? Like, is it that one? Is it that one? And it's just, like, super frustrating and difficult. So, if you're at a bar or at a business location anywhere, even if you're kind of the only one around, if it's in the middle of nowhere, just make sure to put the name of that business into the address location. It will make pickup way easier and way more efficient. So that's the first thing. Okay, so second, don't keep your Uber drivers waiting. I cannot stress this enough. Like, obviously shit happens clearly when you're getting ready. I mean, I've totally been guilty of this. I didn't know until I started driving that how kind of not only inconsiderate but also like how adverse it was for drivers. And what I mean by that is especially Uber has like surge rates on the weekends, and the surge rates are like one of the few times you can really make money really on Uber in a decent kind of way, where as the bars let out, the fares are higher, obviously, but the surge rates, the whole thing is they last for like 5 or 10 minutes. So if you go pick someone up during a surge rate and you're waiting around for 6 minutes to come grab them or whatever, and they're not coming out, not only are you missing out on the fare, you're also missing out on potential other rides and that really short window of the surge fares. And it's just technically, actually, by Uber's policies, you used to be able to cancel a ride after 5 minutes, and now I think it's 2.5 minutes. But obviously, you don't want to cancel in the first place, because that's, especially if you're waiting 2.5 minutes and then you cancel the fare because no one just shows up. That's super frustrating, because you have now lost that, you're losing that window of the surge fares. So just try and be considerate, of people's time, especially when you're getting a ride with a group. I know sometimes, like, I'm very like, hey, I know shit happens and I'll totally wait if someone texts me and lets me know what's going on. But just in general, obviously, today it was super frustrating. I went all the way out to this hotel in the middle of nowhere, and then the person didn't even, I was like, texted them that I got there, and they just didn't respond. So I called them and nothing. So I canceled the fare. But it was just such bullshit. And honestly, like, to be honest, because it was like I'd driven out like all this way, and then I had made not even a cancellation fee, which is, the cancellation fee is nothing. It's $5, and then Uber takes a cut of that as well. So it's like $3, I think, or something like that. So yeah, just try to be considerate because although it won't affect your rating because you didn't start the fare, so you can't get negatively rated for that. A lot of drivers, when they see an address that continually makes them wait, or a name that comes up, and they're just like they've encountered that name before, especially unique names, like they're just gonna not take that fare because they know it's just full of stress and bullshit. So just be considerate in that. The third thing. And this is for Uber drivers, do not start the trip until passengers get in the car. I know that would seem like common sense, actually, but it's so surprising how many people, like, you're like, oh, you're walking towards the car in a group, and you're in front of their house, and they walk towards the car, and so you start the fare, and then you find out it's not them. Because Uber has, like, a thing on their system, which I think is super frustrating. But once you actually start a fare, you can't cancel the fare. You actually have to end it and then rate the person, and then Uber charges a base fee, and then you have to contact Uber support to let them know to refund the money. It's just super stressful and like takes way too much time out of your trip, your fare, your day, your daily time anyways to get taken care of. And the passenger, if they quickly respond to that, they can like negatively rate you, and that will completely screw your ratings up. And yeah, it just bad. So like, not only should you wait till they get in the car, some people, especially during like the Uber bar hours, again, like people will get into there are multiple Ubers obviously on the road, so people will get into Uber passengers' cars that aren't them. So I always turn around, and kind of just ask, are you Julie, Jake, Jimmy, Martin? And that always helps kind of the process go a little bit smoother. So don't start the trip until they get in the car and until you're positive that who the passenger is. So that's the third thing. The fourth is also for Uber riders, and this is kind of a random thing, but riders, sorry, I clearly have not gotten enough sleep. But I wish someone had told me that about this. So on Uber, there's kind of an option, different platforms like Uber Black, Uber XL, and Uber X. And Uber XL is for like larger size vehicles, for Suburbans, Tahoes, that kind of thing. And so a lot of people, though, will order Uber X's when they should be ordering Uber XLs. And it will be like, I have a Nissan, so people will be like, can I get 8 people in your car? And it's like, even if I wanted to get 8 people, there's no way I can fit them all in this tiny-ass compact car. So that's one thing to be aware of, is ordering the correct size Uber for your passengers and your pickup. That's super helpful. But then also, if you are in like Uber X vehicle or Uber XL or whatever, actually, make sure your trunk is clean and clear. I give so many like rides to people who are going out to the airport, actually from hotels and like early morning flights and stuff like that. And so many people have really small trunks, and I carry, sometimes like I would have like recycling or whatever, and so that's just, it doesn't work. It's kind of bullshit, because you are like, oh, I don't think I'll ever have to use my trunk, and then you realize like a whole bunch of people actually have a whole bunch of luggage, and you are going to be taking a lot of people at the airport. So I just keep my trunk completely clear and clean and clear now, or I just take it out for the rides. Because I do recycle a lot, and so I would always have like things, and I just couldn't get all the things, so I'd have to put it in my passenger seat or whatever, or like cram it in the back, and just kind of really inconvenient and stressful. So yeah, try to always have your trunk clear and ready to fit in some luggage, because it will happen more often than you think. So yeah, and then I guess my last thing is tip your Uber drivers. And Uber kind of is a shitty platform in some ways compared to some others, because like Lyft and Go and other ones, you can actually tip digitally. And I know the whole thing about Uber is that like it's a cashless system, so people love it for that reason, including me as a driver. And I'm not saying like that you have to be exorbitant or whatever, but Uber drivers don't. I've even given rides to like old ladies who they negatively rated me because they didn't realize Uber was a cashless system. So what I thought was like a tip, they thought was fair. And I was like, how do you not know that Uber is fucking digital? But whatever, that's neither here nor there. But I would just say Uber drivers, especially in cities, are not making like anything. There's a lot of YouTube videos about this. Uber drivers aren't making the American dream. A lot of people get into it because they run ads saying they're going to make like $70,000 to $80,000 a year, and that's just kind of bullshit. It's just not true, and especially when you count in the wear and tear in your car, these things like add up, gas, all that stuff. So if tipping your Uber drivers, especially like on busy nights during the weekends, like during the bar rush, like $1 or $2 here or there, like that can really add up and super help out the drivers, kind of offset costs for fuel and all that stuff. It's just something, and it's super appreciated. I don't expect it, but it is because most people don't tip because it is a cashless system. But when you do, it's like very, it's so appreciated by drivers, and because it's not like a platform where most people are making like a living wage. It's mostly to kind of pay off a couple bills here and there or whatever. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Don't vomit in cars, obviously. That would seem kind of self-explanatory, but Uber has a clean fee of like $250 if you vomit. It's never, knock on wood, happened to me. But yeah, just I've met so many cool people, like it's crazy, on Uber, and just so many like fascinating stories, and I would really highly suggest it. The best part, it's funny, the best part about Uber is the drivers, and the worst part is Uber. Like the actual worst part is like the support and the company like slashing wages year by year by year, and it's really bad in some places where Uber drivers are just quitting altogether because it's not worth their time and effort. But that's neither here nor there for Uber passengers. So yeah, I just try and be, treat people how you want to be treated, obviously, and it's been fun to meet all the crazies on the weekend sometimes with like drunk stories and all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully these things have helped, and if you guys have any questions, just please leave me a comment below, and I'll stop rambling, and deuces!